Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and welcome back to another installment of the Now Review. And it's that time again, we've got another yearbook to take a look at, and we're venturing into the 1990s once again, so join me as we're going to take a look at the special edition version and the vinyl version of Now Yearbook 1990. So the dawn of a brand new decade, a very big time in music, a bit of a changeover year, or leading up to an even bigger year with 1991, but a very interesting time when you look at like the mainstream charts, the pop charts, dance charts, and all the other subgenres as well. So we'll see how much of that is represented. As ever, we'll look at the special edition 4 CD first. Here is the front cover, and it's definitely got more of a, we're going red and orange for this one. It's a bit hard to tell on some of the camera frames or some of the pictures, but it's more red towards the top and then very subtly becomes more orange the further down that you go. It's not as a big of a leap as some of the other gradients we've seen. If you've been watching the Now Review for a while, you know that I love a gradient. I'm a bit of a sucker for one, so that's always a plus there. But yeah, a very nice colour blend. The Now 90s-esque logo, this seems to be what they're going for the 90s yearbook, so the Now logo encapsulated in this cylinder sort of thing, which is very 90s, and the whole font, if you look at this, I never found out the name of this font, but all I can say is it is the 90s font. Like, you would have seen this on tons of 90s programming, magazines, music, you know, album covers. It's a very 90s font. It was very in at the time, and I even remember seeing that, you know, late 90s, early 2000s. It clearly stood the test of time. But yeah, very decent cover. As this is the special edition one, as you can see, the spine is a bit thicker. It's more like styled like a book, actually. It's a lot sturdier than the standard 4 CD, which you can get, but that's more like the traditional fold-out cardboard style. This one's a bit sturdier, a bit more resilient, and just, I think personally, looks nicer on the shelf as well. So we'll delve what's inside in just a minute, but as ever, let's have a look at that all-important track list. So, 1990, here we go. CD1, we're kicking off with George Michael and Praying for Time. Elton John with Sacrifice, which, correct me if I'm wrong, was his first solo #1 in the UK. It only took him nearly 20 years, but a great song. Roxette with It Must Have Been Love, that's a great tune as well. New Order with World in Motion, which of course was famously used in the World, was it the World Cup or one of the big football tournaments that year? The KLF with What Time Is Love. I'm so happy that more KLF tracks are now appearing on Now albums, because for the longest time they weren't, and this is one of their big hits. Really great song there. The B-52s with Love Shack. Everyone has a bit of a love-hate relationship with this song. Fair to say I'm in the latter. Belinda Carlisle with We Want the Same Thing. Duran Duran and Violence of Summer, Love's Taken Over. New Kids on the Block with Hangin' Tough. Kylie Minogue with Better the Devil You Know. Still a Stock Aitken Waterman produced track, but by God, it's a big banger. Still gets a lot of play today. One of my favourite Kylie songs as well. Kim Appleby with Don't Worry. Whitney Houston with I'm Your Baby Tonight. The album of the same name is an often underrated album, I think. Go and check that out. It's really good. Sting with Englishman in New York. The Ben Libram mix. Oh, okay. A mix I'm not as familiar with, but the song itself is good. Paul Simon with The Obvious Child. Steve Miller Band with The Joker. Now that must have been a reissue in 1990, surely. The Beautiful South with A Little Time, a very simple track, but one of their best. Julie Cruz with Falling. Chris Isaac with Wicked Game. And the Pet Shop Boys with Being Boring, a song that only made about number 20 at the time, but has gone on to become like one of their most iconic songs, especially amongst fans. So yeah, glad that they're here. Nice to see them on more Nows as well. 19 tracks on CD1. Let's hop on over now to CD2, see what's happening over there. So we've got D-Light and Groove Is in the Heart. Again, a very infectious song that is. You've got Snap with The Power, one of their breakthrough hits, and how many hits they've gone to have, man. Adamski and Seal with Killer, again another classic track from the early 90s. Mantronics and Wondrous with Got to Have Your Love. Bassomatic with Fascinating Rhythm. Innocence with Natural Thing. Soul to Soul with A Dream's a Dream. DNA and Suzanne Vega, Tom's Diner, and Tom's Diner itself is just sampled like crazy, even now. The Family Stand with Ghetto Heaven. Adventures of Stevie V with Dirty Cash or Money Talks. Rob and Raz feat Lila or Leela K with Got to Get. Guru Josh with the original version of Infinity. I didn't know it was as far back as 1990, but I mean, Infinity's a great track. I'm more familiar with the 2008 version they did, but the song's a bop. You've got Primal Scream with Loaded. Happy Mondays with Step On. The Stone Roses with One Love. The Charlatans with The Only One I Know. The Cure with Never Enough. They Might Be Giants with Birdhouse in Your Soul. Candy Flip with a very odd but strangely captivating version of Strawberry Fields Forever. And The Farm with All Together Now. Another 20 tracks there. So let's move on over now to CD3. We've got Sinead O'Connor, the recently departed Sinead O'Connor with Nothing Compares to You, beautifully sung. Maria McKee with Show Me Heaven, of course from Days of Thunder, brilliant ballad. John Bon Jovi with Blaze of Glory from the Young Guns 2 soundtrack. Skid Row with 18 and Life. Faith No More with Epic. Tina Turner and Steamy Windows. Alania Miles with Black Velvet. Cher with Just Like Jesse James. Heart with All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You. Wilson Phillips with Hold On. Paul Young and Oh Girl. UB40 and Kingston Town, one of my favourites of theirs. Maxi Priest with Close to You. Betty Boo with Where Are You Baby. Paula Abdul and The Wild Pair with Opposites Attract. Technotronic with Get Up Before the Night Is Over, big tune that is. Partners in Crime with Turtle Power, yes, about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it was 1990 after all. MC Hammer with You Can't Touch This. And Vanilla Ice with Ice Ice Baby. Nice to have two of the most infamous rap tracks, shall we say, of 1990 appear on there. That's when hip-hop was starting to boom in, but the gangster rap scene would be a few years away. And then CD4, so we're kicking off with the Pet Shop Boys again. So glad we're getting their music back on now. We've got So Hard, which made the top 5, and it was one of the lead singles off their Behaviour album. Jimmy Somerville with You Make Me Feel Mighty Real, a great cover. Kylie Minogue with Step Back in Time. Lonnie Gordon with Happening All Over Again, great Saw-produced tune there. The 49ers with Touch Me. Blue Pearl with Naked in the Rain, one I didn't like at first, but is strangely earwormy. Bananarama with Only Your Love. En Vogue with Hold On. London Beat with I've Been Thinking About You, a strangely persistent hit, still gets a lot of radio airplay these days. The Human League with Heart Like a Wheel. Dusty Springfield with Reputation. Halo James with Could Have Told You So. Jason Donovan with Hang On to Your Love. Martika with More Than You Know. New Kids on the Block with Tonight. Adamant and Room at the Top. Go West with The King of Wishful Thinking, which was famously heard on the Pretty Woman soundtrack and is a great tune, one of their best. Deacon Blue with I'll Never Fall in Love Again. Aha with Crying in the Rain, a beautifully produced cover. Bobby Vinton with Blue Velvet. And we close off with the Righteous Brothers, an Unchained Melody, one of many years in which that song would become popular once again, and 1990 was indeed one of them. So there you have it, that is the 4-disc, 79 tracks in total you are getting on 4 CDs, both in the standard and special edition one here. I'll talk more about the track list in just a second, as ever, but let's open it up, see what we've got inside. So like with these special edition ones, you can see that the CDs are housed in these sleeves rather than being, mainly exposed as they are in the normal cardboard fold-out. We're going with a gradient, I love a gradient. So CD1 is very much that dark red, very dark, and then CD2 is a more bright red, before CD3 is a more vibrant orange, and then it's a lighter orange for CD4. So a nice gradient there, big props, you've got the logo on the disc again. Very simple disc designs they always tend to do for the yearbook, and I'm not necessarily against that. I think it's simple, it's to the point, tells you exactly what it is on the tin, no holds barred there. But then the meat and potatoes of the special edition is you get the booklet. Now, some of these things used to be standard in Now, as we know, but they aren't anymore. But the opening page sort of says, Welcome to Now 1990 Yearbook, giving you facts about 1990, what was going on, what music was big, all that sort of stuff. I love reading about the history of it all. That's right up my alley. And then, of course, you get the actual tracks. You get the peak chart position they reached, and you get when in the year, like in the 12 months of the year when they reached that. You also get a lot of facts about the song itself and about the artist and about the albums they were releasing at the time. Just really great to have all that, really great to have all this information loaded into the special edition. Now, yes, you can probably find most of this online if you dig deep enough, but to have it in a booklet like this is great. It is a shame they don't make this standard anymore as they used to do with the numbered series, but whether it's cost or trying to be more environmentally friendly, I don't know. But the special edition yearbook is like the main way now in which you get all this information in a package like this. You've also got the quiz. You can't forget the quiz. Lovely quiz, different questions, 15 questions on the year 1990 and the music within it. You'll have to test yourself, see how well you do. And the great thing about this is as well as the information, you get images of all the singles covers at the time from 1990, which is always a nice throwback, particularly if you grew up at the time. It might spark some memories for you. And they obviously give thanks to the official charts company who have helped them, I guess, with all this information. So that is all contained within this book style. Again, it's more resilient, it's more durable, and it's one of the main reasons why I like getting the special edition CDs. It does cost you a little bit more. These retail from anywhere between, well, now they've gone up again, I think, between 15 and 17, 18 pounds, something like that, whereas the standard one's about 11. So you are paying, say, an extra £5 for it, but for me at least, for a more durable case and a booklet full of information and CDs better protected, I personally think it's worth it, but I completely appreciate it's not going to be the same for everyone out there. So that is the special edition CD, but as I said, we're going to look at the vinyl as well. I love getting the yearbooks on vinyl. It's a 3LP, as all of the yearbooks are, so the cover's the same, just a bit blown up. I'll show you some of the discs in a second, but let's take a look at exactly which of those 79 tracks made it onto the vinyl. So, LP1 side A, we're going to blitz through. We've got Praying for Time, Sacrifice, Love Shack, We Want the Same Thing, Better the Devil You Know, Don't Worry, and It Must Have Been Love. That's on side A, 7 tracks there. Then on side B, you've got What Time Is Love, World in Motion, Violence of Summer, I Could Have Told You So, Falling, Wicked Game, and Being Boring. So another 7 there. So 14 tracks total on LP1. LP2, on side A, we've got Groove Is in the Heart, The Power, I'm Your Baby Tonight, Reputation, The King of Wishful Thinking, The Obvious Child, and Englishman in New York, that different mix there. So that's 7 tracks. And then on LP2 side B, we've got Killer, Fascinating Rhythm, Step On, One Love, The Only One I Know, Strawberry Fields Forever, Birdhouse in Your Soul, and A Little Time. So 15 tracks total on LP2. LP3, we kick off with So Hard, You Make Me Feel Mighty Real, Step Back in Time, Happening All Over Again, Dirty Cash, Naked in the Rain, Tom's Diner, Ice Ice Baby. Then on side B, we've got Nothing Compares to You, Blaze of Glory, Steamy Windows, Black Velvet, Just Like Jesse James, Show Me Heaven, and we round off with I'll Never Fall in Love Again by Deacon Blue. So there you have it on 3 LPs, collating to 44 tracks, so just over half of the CD you are getting on the vinyl edition as well, because obviously if they tried to cram all of these onto vinyl, it'd be a big box set and cost a lot more money, that's for sure. So you're getting more than half the tracks on vinyl. I will show you one of the discs here in a second. It's presented on orange vinyl, so normally on the website, you know, the colours are a bit more, should we say, vibrant, more exaggerated. Here you go, you can see the disc here, so it's not exactly like you see on the website, but still, I'm a big sucker for coloured vinyl. I do think it's quite nice to have, and the orange tone isn't too bad either, in my opinion. So if you want to get this, it retails for between, say, £30 and £33, depending on where you go. That's roughly £10 per disc of the 3 you get in there, so I always argue the yearbooks in that sense are a bit better value than, say, some of the 2 LP releases that now do. So, you know, if this is your thing, then definitely go get it, because these are more limited edition. They never say how many copies they make, but it's usually a few thousand. So if you want a bunch of hits from 1990 on vinyl, then this is the primary way you're going to get it. But the track list as a whole, I mean, just going back to the CD for a second, I do think you've got a really good range of tracks from 1990 here. You've got a lot of the big, like, pop songs, of course, that dominated the charts. You're starting to get the emergence of, like, rap and hip-hop. You're starting to get more of the, like, Manchester scene and some more of the bands that were coming up, you know, people like Primal Scream, Happy Mondays, Stone Roses, etc. It shows that 1990 was really starting to... There's still a lot of remnants of the late 80s, you know, some of these songs here, you hear a lot of the kind of sounds, instruments, production that you would have heard in like 88, 89, but you're also starting to hear a bunch of new sounds that weren't in those years. And as the years go on, especially when you get to like 1991, 92, etc., that sound becomes even more progressive, moving away from that 80s style. So this is really a very transitional year, I think, 1990 in popular music in general. Really glad we've got some inclusions like from the Pet Shop Boys, so glad to see them back on Now albums more frequently. You've got a good representation of Stock Aitken Waterman stuff. Again, they were starting to fall from their peak, but you've still got the likes of Kylie and Jason and Lonnie Gordon and things like that. KLF, again, really happy they're here because they didn't appear on any album for the longest time, so it's nice to have them back. And you've got your soundtrack songs, established artists, new artists, one-hit wonders, some brilliant dance stuff as well, because as we know, the 90s would be a peak decade for dance music. So all in all, a really good mix of material. Personally, this is one of my favourites. I don't think it is my ultimate favourite. I'm not going to go on a limb and say that, but maybe definitely top 10 or top 5, maybe, dare I say? I'd probably have to do a ranking of these, but yeah, a very strong showing. But that is all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a like on it. It really helps us out. And let me know in the comments. Are you going to get Now Yearbook 1990? And if you are you getting the standard CD? Are you getting the special edition one like I have here? Or are you getting the vinyl version? Let me know all of those thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe to us here if you're brand new. We'd love to have you aboard. And in the meantime, I've been Adam Martin from AMTV Now. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time for another spin on the turntable.